Lesego Makhubela the right person for the ANC Youth League presidency? How has the 2013 disbandment impacted the running of the Youth League affairs? Why are there no female nominees for the league's presidential position? Is the current Youth League capable of influencing ANC's key policy discussions? What time is it? It's question time. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Tsedu. The long-awaited ANC Youth League's 25th Elective Congress is due to be held at the weekend. The league's leadership structures were disbanded in 2013 and replaced with the national and provincial task teams. Today, Question Time talks to one of the Youth League's presidential candidates, Lesego Makhubela. A reminder that you can call us and air your views. The numbers to dial 089-110-4210. If you're outside the borders, 00-2789-110-4210. Our Twitter handle is Question Time 24. Before we start with today's interview, though, we're going to take a moment to look at this clip.
The ANC Youth League has always been given an opportunity to raise its views in the ANC in defense of the African National Congress objectives, because those objectives are the objectives of the Youth League as well. So what then this period did was that they gave a false notion to young people that to be revolutionary is to be vulgar. To be revolutionary is to make a lot of noise and say things which are going to be perceived by others as militant and revolutionary. So it's the kind of rot we are saying that we've got to deal with, including the fact that the Youth League has been made to relax in political development. That without political development, you don't have a future.
There is Nati Mtetwa, who's one of the task team members of the ANC Youth League. So, Comrade President wannabe, have you been nominated?
Well, we don't do that in the ANC. You don't parade yourself as a candidate that wants to be or so forth. I'm told that I've been nominated in the Western Cape yesterday. I'm yet to officially receive that nomination. I know there was a press conference of the PEC of the Western Cape. I'm still to apply my mind whether I will accept the nomination or what. But then I've never refused any task given to me by members of the Youth League, whether as an usher, whether as a queue marshal, or whether as assisting in a rally and so forth. So when branches of the Youth League they speak, you hearken to their voice.
Okay, fine. Now, see, the only difference with this program is that we talk political realities here. Fact of the matter is you are standing as a candidate for the ANC Youth League presidency. Now, what makes you different from Ronald Lamola or from Maine in the Northwest and from Pule Mabi, if he is still standing, or any other candidate that may be proposed?
It is not for me to answer that question. It will be answered by branches of the ANC Youth League. Mm-hmm. They will look at what type of the Youth League must lead the youth at this epoch. They will look at the current challenges that are faced by young people in South Africa. They will look at the current challenges that are faced by the youth in our society. But equally, they will look at the challenges that are faced by the organization. From there, they will determine what sort of a leader they will want, whether they will want somebody who's vibrant, who's militant, or an ideologue. It will be up to the branches.
What are you?
Well, in our organization, you don't speak about yourself. It is the member.
Oh, well, you're chairperson of the Tshwane region.
it is the membership.
What did they elect? Did they elect a little dictator there who's running the show, fisted?
No, it's a very democratic region. I mean, they elected the programs and the ideas that we came with. There were many struggles that we actually waged in that particular region. The first struggle was the struggle of young people who were working as informal traders. I'm sure you know about the victories that we've scored. We've pushed the city of Tshwane to be able to even create a fund for the informal traders, young people there, to take them to tertiary universities and so forth. There are other battles that we have won there. We have influenced the African National Congress to then be able to look at the Youth Development Unit, increase its budget so that it prioritizes the youth in the region, who were the first in the entire country actually to even be able to raise a fund that was assisting, because we've got the highest concentration of universities in our region. Okay. That was assisting students who received NEFSAs but who did not have money for registration, who were able to assist them with registration. I can tell you today that we have not even lost any of our campuses to the opposition. They elected that. Those were the challenges that were facing them in that particular region, and they elected the collective. They never looked for an individual. They elected me with the collective that I lead with.
Fine. So who would be in your collective? Let's talk top 5.
It doesn't happen that way. It's assembled differently. It's the Youth League that begins to say, these are the challenges, this is the character.
But why are you playing politics with me?
No. But I need to answer you directly. You are asking,
but tell me the truth. Okay.
You are asking direct questions. I'm giving you direct answers.
Right. In your slate, it's you as president, who's deputy?
No, you'd rather ask me. Maybe I will assist you in phrasing your questions. You'd rather ask me, what do you think are the challenges that are faced by the Youth League?
Fine, we'll get to that. I want to deal with the leadership slate first.
I do not believe in slates. I believe that just like how the Youth League was formed in 1944, the first president of the Youth League, Anthony Mziwakele, was not even in the NTT. But then those who actually went for him, they went for him because he was the best amongst them. The young people at the time, A.P. Mda, Nelson Mandela, Nkomo, and many of them, they said there's a young man there at this university, very smart, very eloquent. He preaches and espouses an idea called the African nationalism. We think that he's above us in terms of ideas, in terms of articulation. Let us make him a leader. That is the African National Congress that we know of. It elects the best amongst itself.
Right. It would appear you've been well trained, and as far as dealing with my questions is concerned. Would you mind Ronald Lamola as your deputy?
Ronald Lamola is an outstanding leader of the African National Congress. He led at a time when the Youth League was undergoing serious challenges. He's a trained advocate. He just graduated, got his master's degree. He's an epitome of young people who must pursue education. We need to start looking at that. We need to have leaders who have made education fashionable. We need to start having leaders who are not dependent on the state for survival. He's running his own practice. You will remember that he was elected with the cabbage farmer, but the Youth League was facing challenges. We never got to experience the full extent and potential of his leadership qualities. And in his articulation, he is very sound and is very clear. He has represented the resolutions of the 2011 Conference of the Youth League very well. And I think ultimately, he actually endured a lot of criticism, and he has actually endured a lot of challenges because of what he stood for at the time. I think he's an outstanding leader of the Youth League, and I think like many other comrades, he's a shining example. I would have him anyway.
Okay. Yeah. Gee, it takes you a while to say you wouldn't mind him. Would you mind Pule Mabi?
Well, as an individual, I think that he's an outstanding leader as well. In the history of the ANC Youth League, he's the only Treasurer General who became the Treasurer General for 2 terms. The reality of the matter is that even the constitution of the ANC, it says that the ANC Youth League is a preparatory organization. And therefore, one speaker or commentator once said, you cannot say when you are now doing your second year at VETS or in tertiary university, then you want to tell your professors that you would want to go back and redo your matric. I believe that Comrade Pule has graduated to the ANC. He's a leader of society, and I believe that he's best placed there. And I believe that he's assisting the African National Congress.
You must leave young people.
It's Monday. Well, he's still there in terms of the constitution of the ANC Youth League. Depending who is interpreting it, he still falls under the bracket of the ANC Youth League. But I believe that we need to then begin to look at the character of Gigaba. When he was 33, when he could still stand for the presidency of the Youth League, he said, I am old. Now I have responsibilities of children. I'm no longer thinking of things of the youth.
Well, he was 24 when he was elected.
And I think that is what we need to start looking at.
All right.
Yeah.
I want us to take a quick break. When we return, let's talk about this age thing. Okay. Who is young? You know, because some of these candidates, if they were to succeed, by the time they vacate office, they may be 40 or almost 40. Okay. But only after the break. This is question time. We'll be taking your calls 089-110-4210. Western Cape comrades would like to know, why did you nominate him and not the others? This is question time.
She isn't saying no to sex because she's playing hard to get.
Because she's leading you on.
Because she wants you to dominate her.
She is saying no because she does not want to have sex.
Sex with the elderly that aren't strong enough to fight you off, that is rape.
Sex with a child is rape.
And the penalty for rape is severe.
And nobody,
not a friend, not a family member,
not a single member from your community
will think that what you did was right, acceptable or tolerable.
They will be happy to see justice done.
Start listening to the words of our women.
Start respecting that no means no.
Rape is rape. Let us bring an end to it together.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. Indeed, my guest was supposed to have been the Minister, Fikile Mbalula, who's also a member of the ANC NEC. However, couldn't make it. We are talking today with the candidate of the ANC Youth League presidency. Dr. Makhubela, welcome back. Let's talk about the age thing. Who ideally, I know that the Constitution says up until 35 you're youth. Mine will be 35 in 20 days after Congress. Now, do you want to elect people who are old and are about to expire from the youth bracket to come and lead you as young people? And in fact, how old are you?
Oh, well, ANCYL, I'm 28 years of age. Well, the leagues of the ANC, as you will know, the ANC will have the ANC Women's League, you will have the ANC Youth League, you will have the Veterans League. And these structures are formed, the Women's League is formed on the basis of gender. At least now it has been opened up to transgender males who can join the organization. The ANC Youth League it's based on age. It's not based on gender. It's based on any persons between the age of 14 and 35. And the Veterans League also has a criterion. You have to have 50 years of unbroken service within the African National Congress. So these structures, they are based on either age based on age, service in the organization, and gender. So, well, I believe that those who sat down and penned down the constitution of the African National Congress Youth League and decided that between the ages of 14 and 35, people are suitable to be members of the African National Congress. They were correct in the decision that they took. I don't think we should actually have the debate about age. Okay. Because the Constitution puts rest to that particular matter. Okay. It says anybody can be a member of the Youth League between 14 and 35. But what we'd rather debate about, we should debate and say to ourselves, will a person who's 22 or a person who's 24 or a person who is elected when he's 35 or 33 or 34, when they are in the midterm of their office, they will be non-members of the ANC? Because even the ANC Constitution, Youth League Constitution, is technical. It says its membership is annually subscribed, meaning after 12 months you must renew your membership. So when I join now when I'm 33, I'm going to renew again when I'm 34, and I'm going to renew again when I'm 35. So when you're 35, then in the following year you turn 36, that's when you cease to be a member. When you're 37, you cannot renew. So it means the league will be led by a non-member of the ANC Youth League, which I think, in my own interpretation, it's a contravention of the Constitution.
Okay, hold it there. I want to take Lucas. You are calling us from Mpumalanga.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes.
How are you, sir?
Oh, we're doing well.
Not that bad. I just want to say to the guy on the studio that I'm very proud to understand that we still have people that are intellectual in terms of leadership. The way he handles the question that you are asking him. But I've got a little bit of a concern when it comes to the question of age in terms of the Youth League.
Yes.
When we talk about age, a guy that is going to take his first term in an organization at the age of 28 or 29, somewhere around there, the time frame for him to be groomed and be graduated into the senior political league, it becomes not that enough. Because for me, it was going to be good if we were to start with the age of 22. And then by the time you reach 33, then you graduate from Youth League and you go to the senior political structures. But the Youth League is a fundamentally grassroots whereby people should be trained to deal with the high demanding platform of which some of the leaders fail when it comes to that situation.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Lucas. I think we get the point, the age thing. And perhaps, let me ask you this. This conference, or this Congress rather, it's happening at a time when there are serious rumors amongst the ANC. There's something called the Premier League, which is said to be calling the shots. Are you having their support?
Well, I've been reading about this. I've seen it on the mainstream media. I've seen it on social networks. People debating about the Premier League and so forth, and who forms part of it. I don't know of its existence. I don't know it, but I know one thing: there will always be groupings. Sometimes we call them factions or secret societies within the African National Congress. In the history of the African National Congress, there have been several cabals or factions or groupings. One in memory, it was the Group of 8, led by the Magiwane brothers, who were even eventually expelled from the organization. They had a plan of how they wanted to hijack the African National Congress for their own agendas. They had a plan of how they wanted to remove the president of the ANC, Oliver Tambo, at the time. They had vile plans about how they wanted to discharge their mandate. But the African National Congress, that's why it's 103 years old. It has always been able to rise above these interest groups, rise above these factional groups, rise above these cabals and secret societies. By saying that, I'm not saying that I'm discounting that there is such a group. I do not think that people will constitute themselves in that way, especially those who are named and so forth. But I do not believe in that. But I'm saying that there will always be factions who have their own agendas now and again.
All right. Itumeleng, you are in Tswane.
Yes.
Welcome.
Let me first greet you, Ndatetsedu.
Yes, sir.
And let me also greet Lesego.
Sure you do.
Lesego is my friend, it's my comrade.
Okay.
We come a long way. At some point, we've not been agreeing. Being labeled as a communist, he clearly, I want to believe that during his time, it is when the PYA came together in Swan. It has its own challenges, but through his efforts representing the Youth League, he has managed to rise above petty politics and put the movement forward. There was a crisis in Swan South College where management was fighting employees. He was very instrumental. I must give credit to Comrade Maputi Marawa, Comrade Sponsor Museu, who were instrumental in assisting the institution to come back into trade. I do not have, as much as I've moved out of the youth bracket and champion the interest of the working class, I want to believe that I have confidence in his leadership, and going forward, the Youth League, it is what they need now. We do not need a vibrant person that would, people would be cautious out of him. We want a person that would be able, people would be able to come back to him and speak and be able to apologize when he's wrong, and an open person. Thank you.
Thanks very much, you too. Now, if you are elected president of the ANC Youth League, your benchmark is going to be Julius Malema, because he's the last president of the Youth League. And, well, he's got his own overalls and the red berets today. How are you going to deal with his legacy?
Well, he has no legacy in the ANC. His shoes are actually very ugly. There is no reason for anybody who will even take over the Youth League and try to aspire to actually gauge themselves or weigh themselves according to the standards and the statutes of the Youth League.
Okay.
We have been going through this process of rebuilding for the past 3 years, and we have not been able to go to a conference because what he has been able to inculcate within the membership of the African National Congress Youth League, rogue politics, confusing disrespect with militancy, confusing ill discipline with the radicalism, and the issues of money and all sorts of things. So he has been able to introduce a particular demon that even ensured that it paralyzes the Progressive Youth Alliance. He was above the Progressive Youth Alliance, SASCO, the YCL, and therefore those were rogue elements. He even got to a point where he even over-exaggerated the kingmakership rule of the African National Congress.
Hold it there. I want to take a very quick call. Nhlapo, you are in Sasolburg.
Yes, sir.
Yes, very quickly.
No, I want to ask your guest, if he's been elected, how is he going to deal with the political intolerance that we see amongst ANC young members? And secondly, how is he going to deal with the lack of transformation in the universities that we see, especially the Afrikaner-dominated universities? After 20 years, there is still no transformation there. And I think June 16 was one of the fight against this Afrikaner or Africans dominate.
I think we've got those two questions very quickly, Elso.
Yeah, well, young people must start, particularly in Tagis. In Tagis, we need to start speaking about those particular things. 20 years down the line, you still have our universities untransformed. You still have the color bar being used to even admit students within these tertiary institutions. You're still having people being judged not by the content of their character, but by the color of their skin. It still happens here under our noses at the University of Pretoria and around. Here in where I lead, we had a situation whereby we waged a sit-in, where only at the time, only about 11% of black students were allowed to get their races there. And we told them that they must have a sit-in at the office of the rector. And I can tell you now that over 42%, which has never happened before, have been admitted to have to have races, to have accommodation and so forth. And I still think we can still do more with the bigger platforms.
All right. And are you going to pursue nationalization?
Well, for us, it does not matter whether the cat is black or it is white, for as long as it can catch mice. We need to then begin to say, let us look at the economic policies that will then address the situation of our people. We need to start saying, black people, how many of them are in the JSE? How many blacklisted companies are in the JSE? Who's owning the mines? Who's owning the banks in South Africa? Who's owning industry and all sorts of things?
Thank you very much. Presidential material, I guess.
Thank you very much.
All the best.
Thank you.
That was question time for today. A big thank you to my guest and to you for watching the show. From me and the rest of the crew, have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye.
Africa's tech scene is constantly coming up with innovative ways to answer some of the continent's problems.
We source content from social media, from our mobile apps, from our website.
And as people move from phone calls to data, companies have to switch what they offer.
People expect to get higher speeds, better quality broadband for less.
On Network, we have information on Africa's technology and social media scene. That's Network with Ms. Phumelele Zondi every Sunday at 9 p.m. Central African Time, only on SABC News.
Makamelo Sekhontse, one strong woman who said no to hunger. She never allowed circumstances to pull her down. At daybreak, she is up and running in the streets of Johannesburg to make her living. After 12 hours